Welcome to the Project 4 Museum CSS layout. In this one, we're going to be creating layouts with styles, and we're going to be working with a template, which you're going to find very, very useful. And we're going to be using CSS to control content. I did touch upon that briefly in one of the other videos. So remember, if you've done the first 3 projects, you've already gotten a little bit about the concept of CSS. So here, this one's going to dig into the nuts and bolts of it. So sit back, relax, and we'll see what happens. So here are the 3 different styles. You have inline, you have embedded, and you have external style sheets. Most of what we're going to be doing is external, so that it can be used to manipulate the formatting of not just the file that you're currently working in, but in the other ones as well. Inline styles are very, very useful, as well as embedded. Just remember that the inline style is always the strongest one if you need something specific to affect just one particular element, which you'll see very shortly. So again, there's a lot of benefits of using CSS. First of all, you have structural contract that's really truly separated from the presentational attributes. All the code determines a page's appearance is stored actually in the CSS file. The HTML code only contains the actual page. So you can change styles automatically, and that was going to automatically change the page elements, and you don't have to do that for every single one. You can just attach it to one style sheet, and then everything is automatically changed just by making one change to one element. Creating one is really easy. Just click on the magical plus sign over there, and that gives you the option to create a new file or to attach an existing one. And here you have, with HTML, a page is open, then you can use the CSS designer to attach the style. Here you have the options, you have the link method, you have the import method. Mostly we're going to be using the link. Here is viewing the CSS code. Notice the extension CSS at the end. That stands for Cascading Style Sheet. So when you attach a style sheet to an HTML page, the CSS file name appears in the actual bar at the top on the related file. So if you make changes in the CSS file while the HTML page is active, the CSS name is going to show a little asterisk or star, so that means it's been changed. Here you're going to be creating new rules. All you need to do is add a selector in there. You just click on the little button over there. By default, the new selector name matches whatever is selected in the HTML page on the bottom. So the new selector again is going to be added to the file that's selected. After adding a new selector, remember you can change the name of the selector. So you have tag selectors which match the name of a related HTML element. You have class selectors that begin with a period. You have ID selectors that begin with the number sign, and then you have descendant or compound selectors that include the path of the tags. Here we have the box model. The box model has been around for a very long time. Remember, it consists of the margin, the border, and the padding. So if you have 200 pixels, the border, the padding, and the margins are also included, as well as the content. Inserting an element is really fairly easy. So like all you have to do is in design view, you can click a button on the HTML insert panel. In the case of the insert element dialog, you're going to use that to determine where the element should be placed relative to the actual selection itself. And then inserting elements again, this is continued over here. So you can see you can click in design mode. If you click on insert, it's going to put the content for new header tag goes there. That's a header tag itself. Here is using the DOM panel on the right. That's going to allow you to organize. Then you can nest divs. And that's just like nesting anything else in here. You have one element that's inside of another element. So they're automatically aligned based upon the horizontal alignment properties of the containing element, which again, you'll learn more. Remember, these PowerPoints are just to give you a brief introduction to what's going to be inside the chapter itself, and not meant as a training for it. So templates, they are very, very important. That allows your site to have a look and feel that's identical. Making changes to the template will affect all of the other files that are related to the template. So you're going to have editable regions that if you make a change to the editable region, it won't affect anything else. If you make something to an ineligible rating in the template, it's going to affect all of the pages. So here is your pass. You don't need to really worry about that. When you're creating a file and you already have an existing template, you can choose New from Template, and that will create the file directly from the template itself. Here you have Apply Template to a page. So if you have something already that doesn't have a template, you can actually apply it right there. And again, a little bit more, you can see what happens here. You can modify a template. Notice the DWT extension, and that is your actual template. So the process for editing a template file, as it is for editing a regular one, exactly the same. You double click in the file panel, you make whatever changes, choose File and Save. Make sure when it says, do you want to update, choose yes. Here is tag selectors. In here, you can see the body, the H1 and H2. All these things in here affect, for the body, it's the margin, the padding. So it's going to be by default, unless it's changed with another tag, it's going to be affected to every element in the body, as well as the H1 and H2 tags, as you can see. Okay, more on tag selectors, and you can trickle down the behavior selectors by defining different properties of the specific tags. You can apply something to a ID element as long as you have the number sign. So anything that has an ID, a sidebar, is going to be affected by it. Remember, you can only have one ID with the same name in a page. Here is your compound or descendant selectors. So it only affects elements within specific elements. In this particular case, it's only going to affect an image that's inside a figure, that's inside a tag selector of main copy. These are your pseudo-class selectors. They're going to be for your links, so you'll learn more about that. Remember that visited is one that if you click after it and then you go back, that means you visited that site. Hover is when you have your mouse over it, and you'll learn about the other two, focus and active, inside the book. That's it for this PowerPoint. Hope you enjoy the project.